Frontier by Selene Lee. First, let's ask the question, what does it mean exactly when we talk about space travel? Suborbital travel. Let's ask, have you reached space with a sky textbook? Amazon found that Jeff Bezos traveled 47 miles up from Earth in 2021. Is that space? Mr. Bezos said so. Isn't that just like a trip to the supermarket? 47 miles. That's Southampton and back. NASA disagrees and says space is 62 miles up at the Caribbean line where the sky is completely black. Liam Shatner, the actor, made a 10-minute trip in 2021. It was the oldest event ever to visit space, 66 miles high. It was nice to see a black sky. What if Earth had no atmosphere like billions of years ago? And the sky blue? You couldn't travel to space because the sky is black, so you're already there. That doesn't really make much sense. The International Space Station. Are we in space or in each orbit? Some people think orbiting Earth is what makes a spacecraft. In 1957, Sputnik 1 orbited Earth for 23 days. People called it the first spacecraft. In 1961, Yuri Gagarin orbited the Earth exactly once. History remembers him as the first person in space. The ISS, 250 miles up, is our first permanent station. Well, people say permanent, but it's crashing in 2031. It's not a 4-minute round trip to the supermarket that doesn't reach orbit like Mr. Bezos and Shatner, but at least it's one to a destination. The ISS orbits the Earth just going round and round. Is that really space travel? No, that just like a big bus circling the neighborhood? We never really get anyone just goes. The moon, the farthest we've gone. The farthest people have ever been to is the moon. Apollo 11 landed on July 20th, 1969, carrying the first people to the moon. Only 12 people have ever left low Earth orbit, all of them to the moon. All the other astronauts stayed closer to the Earth than a trip to Dallas, just 261 miles away. Did they reach space? People at least orbited the moon, so the moon is kind of its own neighborhood. But the moon still orbited us. Isn't that just a big of us going around the neighborhood? My very educated mom just served us noodles. Touring the solar system. Spacecraft aren't just orbiting anymore. 8 planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Remember, my very educated mom just served us noodles. Most planets have moons. Earth has 1. Jupiter has 53. We discover new moons all the time. Millions of rocky objects called asteroids and icy objects called comets also orbit the sun. Out there is the Kuiper belt. It contains asteroids, comets, and dwarf planets, including Pluto. We've sent spacecraft to all the planets, sun, moons, Pluto, asteroids, and comets. We take pictures and send them back to us too. Visiting the sun. In 2021, the Pekka solar probe touched the sun. The closest star, 93 million miles away. It's a yellow dwarf star, a small star that emits light that is yellow. The sun was born 4.5 billion years ago from a cloud of gas. 5 billion years from now, it will become a red giant, destroy Earth, explode, and then shrink into a white dwarf where it will shine and die. Around 15 billion years old. The space between the stars. 4 spacecraft have just barely escaped the sun. As we can see, Voyager 1 and 2 have barely left the solar system at the terminal trust boundary. Ever bigger neighborhoods until we see all of space. Many planets make up the sun's solar system. Many solar systems make up an interstellar neighborhood. Many interstellar neighborhoods make up a galaxy. Many galaxies make a galactic group. Many galactic groups make a supercluster. And many superclusters make up the whole universe. The universe is all of space. And everything inside. Everything. Want to reach space again? NASA says William Shatner went to space a 10-minute round trip. The sky turned black. The furthest people went to the moon. A big space bus circling our way around our neighborhood, going nowhere. Spacecraft landed on other planets. They at least reached a destination and aren't circling the block anymore. Voyager 1 and others barely left the sun's neighborhood into interstellar space. There are bigger and bigger neighborhoods like star clusters and galaxies all the way to the whole universe. But if the whole universe is space, then we can't go to space because we're already there. Maybe Mr. Bezos was right and space travel is 47 miles up. People just need to look around and think, space! Here's the Enterprise from Star Trek. Its mission is to boldly go where no one has gone before. It's fictional, but let's hope we get there someday. Thanks for listening to my presentation.